Assignment here. So the SEO assignment, I've unlocked these 2 weeks because it's over the next couple of weeks. This SEO assignment will be due. Here we see the due date for the SEO assignment is October the 3rd. So just please make sure it's done by then. Uh, it's worth 15% of your final grade. Now, in the first assignment, the goal was to really to get you to use the exercise worksheets in a way that helped you to understand the process of defining the business, defining your target market with the use of a persona, and then really the worksheets around the social media are intended to provide you with the decision criteria, which is foundational to your recommendation of a social media platform. And I mentioned this before that even in my custom instructions of my artificial intelligence, I have that as a part of it. So now my new custom instructions, I've said when making a recommendation, list 2 to 5 decision criteria, provide 2 to 3 alternatives, score each alternative against the criteria table, and recommend based upon the highest score and why. So what that actually looks like then when I go to what is the best social media platform for a pizza business in Millwoods, Edmonton. I'm curious to see what it says. A little shout out to our friend who may or may not be here. Cool. So here's what it says. Here's the decision criteria, and here's the different platforms, and it scores them. And again, so the thing is, if you don't like the decision criteria, you can always change it. So the intent of the worksheets then was to work through the decision criteria and arrive at a recommendation. And so that was kind of the first assignment that we had. And in everything you do, you should always be thinking about what's the decision criteria here as we move forward. The second assignment begins kind of in a similar way, in that you have to have a bit of a background, a little bit of an introduction, describe the problem or goal you have. And the other difference is now you're going to be working in a team. And so the team has to be more than one person. Individual assignments will not be accepted. So you must work in a group of 2 to 4 people from your class. And here, what we want you to do is to investigate and check out 4 different tools. And I give kind of a list here of some of the tools. I would encourage you personally to try as many tools as possible. If through your work or something you've got access to more tools, you're welcome to use different tools. And I will add in just one comment about that. I had a person from, I think they were DMIT, who worked with a partner, and they used tools that were all like very IT specific and had nothing to do with marketing. Just make sure you're using marketing tools and you'll probably be fine. And we'll go through a couple as we go along here. So basically, what I want you to do is to investigate these tools. And I want you to investigate 4 tools. The investigation of each tool is worth 3 marks for a total of 12 marks. And then in your conclusion, provide the insights gained from the 4 tools. So the caution here as well is please do not waste your very valuable time in this video explaining to me what the tool is. I'm very aware of the tools, and you don't have to waste your time telling me about the tool. You can just tell me instead about the results as a result of using the tool, okay? And so there's a few here, and I I see here, man, that 10 to 15 minutes might be a little bit long. Anyway, uh, nonetheless, please don't like the max should be 15. In fact, 10 should be fine. 10 should be fine. And I'm surprised I even set it that high. But anyway, we'll leave it as it stands. Um, the other thing I just want to draw your attention to here is when you go in here, typically at the bottom, you'll see kind of a rubric. Now, let me just make sure this rubric is set up correctly. It's not, because I need 4 tools. So I'm going to adjust this rubric, but you can kind of see the basic foundation here. So here's a bit about the background. Here's the rating for the different tool. I only have 3 tools here. That's why I got to change it. So it's worth 15 marks. A little bit about your conclusion, and a little bit of just linking it back to the beginning, explaining how maybe your recommendation solves that. But I tried to use rubrics as much as possible. I do remember when I set this up, I didn't have the correct rubric there, so I will redo that. I'll just add in one more line, frankly, so I'm not super worried about that. But that's kind of the assignment. And so the other thing I'll say is so I have access to SparkToro. And so if you want access to SparkToro as one of the tools, you're welcome to email me, raymondb@nate.ca. Please include in your team members, so CC your team members when you email me and say, please add me and this email address to SparkToro, and at the same time, you can say, please add me and this email address to Google Ads. Now, some of you will be familiar with Google Ads as a result of taking the 2250 course. And here again, this is just another tool. So if you wanted to do a little bit of keyword research, you can use this tool. So here under tools, I'm going to go up to planning, and I'm going to use keyword planner. And I'm going to go discover new keywords. And here I might be looking for keywords around, I mean, some of my favorite ones are like personal injury lawyer. And instead of Canada, I might dial this into Edmonton. So again, you might even have it as United States, but here I have a bricks and mortar, a location in Edmonton I'm trying to drive traffic to. So I'm going to take out Canada. I'm going to just include Edmonton. You can include in things like Sherwood Park, Leduc, whatever you want. It's fun to play with these tools. The bottom line is play with the tools. And here, if I go personal injury lawyer, I can see that personal injury lawyer is searched between 100 to 1,000 times per month in Edmonton. So highlight Edmonton. And year over year volume is up by 900%, which is massive. And the bid on this keyword, again, just to demonstrate what this means, personal injury lawyer. So for this person to appear here costs nothing. I'm going to take the Edmonton out, personal injury lawyer. For this person to appear here costs nothing. But if I click on it, how much is it going to be worth to Google? Well, according to this, that will make Google between $57 and $136 when I click on it. That's massive, in my opinion. That's 130, 50, let's take the middle. Let's call it $100. You ready? You want to make Google $100? Boom, there it is. We made Google $100 just like that. Cool? So these tools are really good to use. So in SparkToro is another great tool where you can get some data. You might have to, I was talking about this morning, once you sign up, you might have to hit the switch accounts and go to Raymond's account, my educational account. Rand Fishkin quite graciously gives us this educational account. And so here, the way you use this tool is you go visits this site, profile contains this word. So if you're a doctor, an engineer, a teacher, or they visit a specific URL, you can search for this. And then you can choose between Canada or the United States, and so searches for, so we could say searches for, I don't know, that might be too specific. So we'll say something like searches for, well, why don't we just try out Nate? Searches for Nate. and lives in Canada just for fun. So searches for. So they're just kind of coming back to here. We see this how often these search. So I can change this to be actually Nate. And I can change my country, or instead of it just being Edmonton, I can change this to all of Canada. And I'll hit save. I'll just run my inquiry here again. So the word Nate is searched between 100,000 and 1 million times per month in Canada. So if I say, well, tell me more about the people who search for Nate. And this is kind of the story you want to create when you're creating your video. And I would like for you to share the tools kind of in a similar way as I am. So people who search for Nate in Canada, they typically, and we'll pull up some data on them and see what it says. I was advised by the group who got here before class began, I need to drink more coffee. This one's for you. All right, so according to SparkToro and the data SparkToro found, they see between about 100, about 96,000 to 124,000 searches per month in Canada. So remember, Google is always the one with the real source of data. Google's saying between 100,000 and a million. These folks are saying probably just around 100,000. So I would say it's probably true. It's probably right around that 100,000 mark when I put those tools together. And those are the kind of insights you gain when you stack multiple tools. Here, when we search in SparkToro, we see that the 100,000 people who search Nate in Canada, 61% of them are male, 37% of them are female. So that's kind of interesting. Top employer industries, oil and gas, higher education, construction, IT, marketing and advertising is right there. This is your social networks now. So so this is the Canadian average. So the way to look at this data, and it's always important to understand this, is that this is the Canadian average. So if 97% of Canadians use YouTube, that means this says less by 1%. So probably 96% of people who search Nate, of the 100,000 people who search Nate, 1% less than the Canadian average are on YouTube. So if it's 97% of the population, this would be 96% of the population. If it's 80% of the people are on Facebook, this would be about 6% less, so about 74% beyond. And this is Reddit. So people who search for Nate, the 100,000 people who search for Nate, tend to be on Reddit more so. Cool. And you just go through these. Here's some of the AI tools that they use. People at Nate tend to use ChatGPT by double the Canadian average. So ChatGPT is popular with Nate. Some of the websites they visit, some of the hidden gems in terms of people who get back to you, some of the YouTube channels they follow, the podcast they listen to. Think of this in the context of maybe I want to be on a podcast to get some backlinks. Maybe I want to try to reach more of my target audience because this is a popular podcast with my target audience. And I can probably find more of my target audience when I go there. So this is export all data. So one of the key features of SparkToro, should you choose to use it, is you can see in here a bunch more data. So here's your affinity. In other words, of the 100,000, about 66% go to the website Nate. So that's interesting. So of the 100,000 people who search Nate, 66% actually go to the website Nate, which I think is kind of interesting. Here's some of the other websites and the percentage it goes with it. Here's some of the hidden gems. So about 10% go to AMA, about 10% go to the Real Canadian Superstore website, press that they watch. So Yahoo, CBC, relevant topics. So things that they're interested in, things Alberta Institute of Technology programs, Alberta Health Initiative, content ideas. So if you're a content creator and you're working for Nate, these might be some content ideas that the 100,000 people who search Nate would probably be interested in. So 91% is probably looking for information about spotlight on successful alumni at Nate's programs. Wow, so now I know exactly what is the content I need to be creating. That might be your recommendation, frankly. You might go through some of these tools, other searches, keywords, and so here you might go, hey, uh, interior design courses, Edmonton. Well, maybe I want to do my next search based on that. People who tell me more about the people who search interior design courses in Edmonton and Canada. And this is where you kind of experiment with it, have some fun with it, but just kind of learn the tools a little bit. So here, taking a different tool, we see less than 5,000 people per month are searching interior design courses in Edmonton. We can download the data again, but we can see here some other data on them. We can use other tools, such as here to get a better understanding. Here's another tool we can use, which is just Google Trends. And you can use Uber Suggest as well. Some of these tools have a limited number of searches. So if you're in a group, you'd have a few more searches. Because we only have a license for so many users with SparkToro, I would, that's why I'm asking you to send in your group name, like who's on the team and which member and email address you'd like added on. So I can use this Google Trends as another tool if I'm still investigating Nate. Man, I can see people searching Nate spike in September, spiked in August, September, beginning of September. There's a lot more searches for Nate. Man, it's probably people are returning to Nate, people are accessing Nate, would be my hypothesis there. In January, it spikes again. Do you see in the data? Spikes in September, spikes in January. So people are searching Nate quite a bit when the new semester begins. And most of the folks searching for Nate are in Alberta, according to Google Trends. Yeah, so that's one, two, three tools right there. You can look at Uber Suggest is another one, and just gain some data. Now, I'll show you a video if you don't mind. This was an assignment that was submitted in last semester, and it's about 10 minutes long. I'll play it for a little bit, and we'll just see, and hopefully, I think this was a reasonable job. Again, even if it's not perfect, we can get some, it's directionally accurate. Fair? So I'm going to play a little of this, and then hopefully we can learn a little from it.
Today we have chosen to conduct our research to select social media channels using search engine optimization tools for the business Homes Alive Pets. This research is presented to you by Hu-Ying Lam.
I'm going to speed it up to about 1.25. I think you'll get the idea even at that speed.
Chelsea Rothwell, Justine Young, and myself, Tanner Moore. Homes Alive Pets is an Alberta-based pet supply store, originally founded in Lethbridge. The company's history dates to the 70s and rebranded in 2007 to what you see today. The company's vision is to provide quality products, advice, and service at value pricing. It does this by creating a welcoming, interactive, and uncommonly organized environment to help customers learn more about their furry companions and build stronger and healthier bonds with them.
So there's a little bit about the background. Here comes the problem and goal.
Home Alive Pets has a strong local customer base, but struggles to expand its online reach and organic visibility against large national competitors. To address this, we've analyzed SEO tools like Uber Suggest, Google Trends, SpyFu, and SparkToro, which help uncover keyword gaps, rising content trends, competitor strategies, and audience behavior. These tools are ideal for identifying targeted opportunities that align with what local pet owners are searching for, allowing Home Alive Pets to improve discoverability, stay relevant, and attract more qualified traffic through smarter, data-driven content.
Next, let's explore Uber Suggest, created by Neil Patel. Uber Suggest is a premium search engine optimization tool specifically designed to be one of the best keyword research tools for generating new content and keyword ideas. This tool allows you to achieve your SEO goals and objectives through providing progress tracking, trending, and ranking, along with AI-generated opportunities which can be used to create new content or optimize existing offerings. It includes a site audit function that provides an overview of your SEO score, organic traffic, keywords.
Always include in the data. See there? There's the data. Always include in the data. Ideally, you're going to share me the actual source, but they've got the data there.
And backlinks. From here, you can identify and analyze trends, correct issues, and promote growth. For now, let's focus on its tools for conducting keyword research and analyzing competing content. Uber Suggest has a keyword generator option that uses your domain, business location, and top competitor to provide new keyword suggestions. In this example, the tool has flagged that PetSmart is currently ranking for the keyword fresh pet dog food and recommends adding this keyword to our domain page. This service also provides keywords.
See, they're always providing me the data. That's critical. Don't tell me about the tool. Don't tell me about what you saw. Show me. And here they've screenshotted, put it into their presentation. Fine. Or you can actually demonstrate it right using the tool. Either way is great, but don't tell me about the data. Show me the data and then tell me about your insights based upon the data.
Word overviews, which can be used to gain insights into traffic volumes, Google rankings, and overall competitiveness, known as SEO difficulty. It lets you generate ideas based on a target keyword, allowing you to explore less competitive options that have a higher chance to rank on the first page of Google, which can lead to increased organic traffic. For example, Pet Food Global sees a higher volume of traffic and is less difficult to rank with when compared to pet food. This tool allows you to search by either a keyword or a specific domain, providing key insights into your domain's top performing keywords and pages. And those are your competition. This can be used for both keyword and content ideas, and highlight strategies that are working for major competitors so you can adopt or improve them to increase awareness, engagement, and ultimately drive conversions. In this case, we see that the keyword pet store near me has a high search traffic, and nearly 1/3 of the traffic is directed towards PetSmart, which presents a large opportunity for Homes Alive Pets to capture some of this audience. Overall, Uber Suggest has a wide variety of tools, can be used as an all-in-one option to maximize the SEO capabilities for many content creators.
Hi everyone, I'm Chelsea, and I'll be walking you through how we use Google Trends to uncover real-time data to help Home Alive Pets boost its organic reach on social media. Google Trends is a free tool that helps us understand what people are searching for in real time. We can compare topics, examine interests over time, and identify where trends are rising, which is ideal for planning relevant and timely content for social media. For example, we explore the topic of dog food, which is highly searched.
Boom. See the data? So they're looking at pet stores, they're looking at dog food, they're looking at raw dog food. So they're exploring a few different keywords. Ideally, what you'll do here as well is you'll try to make some connections within the presentation. So as we saw in the first part, we used Uber Suggest to identify some keywords. Now we've got those keywords. We're going to apply those keywords to Google Trends and try to see if there's a specific point in time where that keyword tends to come up more and more. Now, in regards to Google Trends specifically, do play with this duration. How long ago do you want to go back? Its default is just going to show you the day. I recommend looking back at least 5 years so you can see in the data if there's kind of any kind of a trend, just like we saw in Nate. Every January, every September, January, September, January, September, you can see the spikes in the data. So the limitation here is the previous 12 months, but I'd like to look back 5 years and see if this spike occurs every year at that time. And that can help inform when we should be doing our email marketing. Even if we don't want to have that, we might want to have our ad in at that time. Typically, you might find there's a spike. There might be more people bidding on it though. So like flowers become really expensive during Mother's Day and during Valentine's Day, but it's still worth it to spend some money on flowers. But the main thing is that this can help you build an email campaign later on. So just kind of be aware of these trends, but do extend this out past 12 months. Look over the last 5 years and see if there's any changes and look where that trend line's leading you
Across
to.
Canada. Some of the top rising related topics included raw dog food and best dog food, which shows growing interest in specific ingredients and food types. Among the top queries, we found that users were looking for pet stores near me, pet stores, and raw dog food. This indicates a strong interest not just in convenience, but also in nutrition and quality, something Home Alive Pets can effectively highlight in its social content. Our takeaway here is that Home Alive Pets should consider creating content that promotes its offerings related to raw or dehydrated food options. By tapping into these rising trends, they'll be more discoverable and relevant to pet owners searching for better nutrition options.
So kind of like the SWOT analysis, you don't have to give me the recommendations until the end. Fair? Present the data, and then the trick is at the end, go back and connect the data to the original problem when you give me your solution. So just don't feel like you have to give me kind of the recommendations after each tool. The goal is to stack tools and build a recommendation. But I like this presentation.
We used SparkToro to explore where Home Alive's Pets target audience spends their time online and what kind of content they actually engage with. We searched terms like dog treats, pet food, cat food, and dog food. SparkToro helped us identify which platforms are most commonly used by this audience and by how much compared.
So there's the SparkToro data. So these folks chose to take screenshots and share their data in screenshots. Totally fine.
To the Canadian average. The top platforms were Pinterest, which was used 20% more than the average, TikTok at over 16%, and Instagram, which was used around 5% more. This indicates that short-form visual content performs best, especially when it's educational, such as pet care tips or product demos. Reddit and YouTube were also commonly used by this audience for pet-related research and advice. Next, we looked at demographic and website behavior. Most people searching for pet products were women, making up around 60 to 73%, depending on the keyword. The most common industries they worked for was in food production, retail, and veterinary.
Isn't it nice to see the data just appear there? So she says something and then you see the source.
Veterinary services. And SparkToro showed that HomeAlive.ca already has a strong online presence with 47,000 visits per month and one of the highest affinity scores across all sites that were analyzed. So based on these insights, we recommend that Home Alive Pet focuses their content strategy on Pinterest, TikTok, and Instagram. They should create more short videos, educational reels, and pet wellness tips, and ideally partner with micro-influencers in the pet industry. This would help build trust and reach the right audience, especially female pet owners looking for helpful, authentic content.
For our competitor analysis, we use SpyFu, a powerful SEO tool that lets you research competitors' keywords, both organic and paid.
So again, they're using SpyFu. You may or may not have access to some of these tools because some of them are behind a paywall. If you don't have access to it, move on to a different one.
While Home Alive Pets is a local business in Edmonton, we focus on analyzing larger national competitors such as PetSmart and PetValue, which dominate online search in the Canadian pet supply market. After searching for PetSmart, SpyFu showed us a breakdown of the top keywords that drive traffic to their site. Some of the most valuable ones include pet stores near me, dog food, dog beds, dog crate, Purina, which is a brand product keyword with strong buyer intent. These keywords tell us what products and services people most frequently look for and what Home Alive Pets should optimize for in their own content and SEO strategy. SpyFu also shows whether these keywords are organic or paid advertising campaign. For example, PetSmart has Google advertising under dog food delivery, so it's a worth spending term. Home Alive Pets should use these keywords along with local modifiers like in Edmonton or Canada, which ensures targeting people in the area and avoiding competing with national change for general terms. Based on SpyFu's finding, here is what we should recommend for Home Alive Pets. Explore keyword overlap to use keywords PetSmart ranks for but localize them, such as dog pets in Edmonton, crate training tips for puppies in winter, buy Purina in store Edmonton, and also they should target long-tail hosts. Giants, their competition from giants like PetSmart rarely creates useful article-type content. This is an opportunity Home Alive can profit by creating blogs or short videos that answer how to choose a crate size for your dog, best dog food for allergies, increase local paid search, and consider updated Google advertising campaigns on terms such as pet food delivery Edmonton, raw high bones in stock near me. These terms have extremely high commercial intent and appear in your competitor's paid search strategy.
To conclude, our research using SEO tools enabled us to identify the most effective social media platforms for Home Alive Pets. Based on keyword trends and audience insights, Pinterest, TikTok, and Instagram stood out as the strongest platforms for reaching their ideal customers. We also learned that content performs best when it's short, informative, and visually engaging. Things like quick product tips, pet care education, and fun video clips. The audience is primarily female, and many are interested in wellness and retail, which aligns well with Home Alive's current offerings. By using tools like Uber Suggest, Google Trends, and SpyFu and SparkToro, we were able to determine that not only where the audience spends their time, but also exactly what they're searching for. This allows Home Alive Pets to build a content strategy that's backed by real data, helping them increase their visibility, engagement, and online growth in a much bigger way.
Perfect. Oops. So there you go. That's your overview of the assignment with an example. All right, I'm going to pause our recording here.